Before we begin, I want to remind current and potential investors that we will be making various remarks about future expectations, plans, and prospects that are considered forward-looking statements. There are risks that actual results may differ from these statements. We refer you to the Safe Harbor statement at the end of this presentation, or to the forward-looking and risk factors sections of our public filings, which can be found on our website under Investor Filings, EDGAR, and SEDAR+. The statements are made as of today, September 26th, 2025, and reflect our expectations as of today. Thank you for joining us for Zomedica's Investor Webinar Series. We're excited to have you with us as we take a closer look at our company, our innovative product platforms, and the passionate people driving our success. This series is designed to give you a deeper understanding of how we're delivering value to veterinarians and to our shareholders. At Zomedica, our mission is to deliver innovative diagnostic and therapeutic technologies that empower veterinarians to focus on what they love most, enhancing pet care and improving pet parent satisfaction. Equally important, we help vets with what they need most, streamlining workflow, increasing cash flow, and boosting practice profitability. We're focused on two of the fastest-growing segments in animal health, therapeutic devices and diagnostics, and have built a total addressable market of $2.7 billion in annual recurring revenue. We've launched 6 product platforms, each purpose-built to drive better outcomes, improve workflows, and enhance practice profitability. Our performance backs it up. Since the acquisition of PulseVet and Assisi, therapeutic device revenue was up 25%, diagnostics revenue is up 77% in fiscal year 2024, and we've maintained strong gross margins around 70%. This isn't just growth, it's momentum. Now let's hear from Larry Heaton, Zomedica's Chief Executive Officer.
Thank you for joining our Fourth Friday at 4 webinar today. Whether you are a pet parent, a shareholder, a veterinary professional, or just someone who loves animals like we do, we thank you for being here, and we appreciate your support. Last month, we covered Vetigel, hemostatic gel, and how rapid, reliable bleeding control helps when it is needed most. Today, we're shifting to providing answers at the point of care with the TRUVIEW AI microscope. After market testing and field training, the TRUVIEW AI microscope now provides an end-to-end hematology and cytology workflow. Sample to prep, imaging, AI interpretation, and a board-certified pathologist on demand. Our imminent launch of the TRUVIEW AI scope introduces AI interpretation. For hematology and cytology, it analyzes cells, flags abnormalities, and produces clear, structured reports that support confident decision-making. The engine behind this is simple and scalable. TruePrep, automated slide preparation, standardizes and ensures microscope, slide prep, and scanning the same way every time. LiquiView optics with rapid autofocus capture crisp images. Images and AI reports appear in the MyZomedica portal with a simple handoff to telepathology when needed. For clinics, this means same visit answers, better staff use, consistent results across hematology and cytology, and greater confidence in the diagnosis at the point of care. For investors, it means a stronger value proposition, higher retention through workflow integration, and a platform we can continue to enhance with software improvements. As always, thank you for your continued support of Zomedica. Now let's dive in.
At Zomedica, our mission is guided by what we call our 5 pillars. These are core objectives that shape every decision we make about products and innovation. First and foremost, we aim to improve the quality of care for the pets. Equally important is enhancing the satisfaction of the pet parent, ensuring they feel confident and comfortable with the care provided. Our solutions also focus heavily on improving the veterinarian's daily workflow, helping veterinary practices operate smoothly and efficiently. Additionally, we are committed to positively impacting veterinarian cash flow, making sure our offerings are financially accessible and beneficial. Finally, our ultimate goal is to increase veterinarian profitability providing products and solutions that help veterinary clinics grow and thrive financially. Now let's review the market information, quickly sizing the space, calling out the growth drivers, and spotlighting the key players shaping adoption. Then we'll move straight into a side-by-side to show where TRUVIEW pulls ahead. Veterinary digital pathology is moving from nice-to-have to standard of care. Globally, the 2025 market is estimated around $490 to $525 million, with roughly 15% compound growth projected through 2030 to 2035. In the United States, 2025 is expected at 175 to 205 million. Now to the key players shaping adoption. IDEXX is pushing InView DX, a slide-free cellular analyzer, announced for late 2024 with broader 2025 ramp. Zoetis offers the VetScan Imagist with AI applications, including AI masses for lumps and lymph nodes, launched in North America as of June 2, 2025. Ontech, Mars, and others run digital cytology and telepathology networks and are partnering with AI vendors to expand use cases across practices. So the headline is clear: a fast-growing market and three strategic approaches: slide-free analysis, AI apps on digital slides, and network-based services. With that context, let's compare capabilities side by side and see where the TRUVIEW microscope has a competitive advantage. We just saw the market outlook and the key players: IDEXX with InView DX, Zoetis with Imagist, and others expanding digital cytology. Now let's compare systems head-to-head and focus on where TRUVIEW is different. At the very top, TRUVIEW delivers automated slide preparation with TruePrep. It smears, stains, rinses, dries, adds oil, and scans automatically. Neither Imagist nor InView does this. This is TRUVIEW only. Next, hematology end-to-end. A full hematologic evaluation from a single drop of blood on the slide to an AI report. Again, unique to TRUVIEW in this comparison. In imaging performance, TRUVIEW adds two sub-features that the others don't: Z-stacking for crisp detail across focal planes, and an oil objective for higher effective resolution. Both leverage the LiquiView lens. These are TRUVIEW only. So the takeaway as we move forward: hands-off prep, end-to-end hematology, and advanced imaging. TRUVIEW concentrates the workflow, boosts consistency, and gives faster, higher confidence answers in-house. That's the competitive edge we'll build on in the next sections. Now that we've seen how the TRUVIEW microscope is different, let's talk about why adoption is accelerating across practices. First, same visit answers. When results land before the client leaves, you keep revenue in-house and make faster treatment decisions. That's a win for care and for cash flow. Second, AI expansion. As AI augments workflows, increases efficiency, and helps sample interpretation, daily utilization rises. More cases per device, more value per day. Simple. Third, telepathology, remote reads, and real-time collaboration without shipping slides mean speed, access, and fewer logistical headaches. Fourth, workforce strain. Tech and vet shortages are real. Automation and efficiency tools offset burnout and help teams do more hands-on patient care. Fifth, companion animal demand. Aging pets, complex cases, more diagnostics. Volumes are up, and clinics need throughput without sacrificing quality. Sixth, standardization and quality assurance. Slide-free or digital workflows reduce variability and improve reproducibility. Seventh, corporate consolidation. Multi-site groups want scalable, standardized diagnostics that plug into their playbooks. Bottom line, adoption is driven by speed, scale, and standardization. The TRUVIEW microscope checks all three, delivering same-visit answers, higher daily utilization, and reproducible quality across locations. That's why clinics will come to depend on it.
My name is Megan Gassemian, and I am the Senior Director of Product Development here at Zomedica.
And I'm Rich Noctis, Director of Product Growth and Digital Strategy. And now we're going to be diving into the TRUVIEW microscope and how it provides digital cytology with confidence.
Cytology's role in a modern clinic is end-to-end decision support. A quality sample is collected, a slide is prepared, images are captured, an interpretation is obtained, a treatment plan is decided, and a case is documented, ideally within the same visit to keep momentum with the client. Where clinics struggle is variability and delay in each step. Prep depends on who's on shift, image quality can be inconsistent, and external reads cause delays. That slows care, creates rechecks, and leaks revenue. The opportunity is to standardize this entire flow, sample to decision, so teams deliver faster, more certain answers with the staff that they already have. Clinics are under pressure on three fronts. First, throughput. Manual prep and sendouts are inefficient. They can cause delays and raise costs. Second, diagnostic certainty. Inconsistent image quality and long turnaround times erode confidence and client retention. Third, staffing. Expectations for rapid results keep rising while teams are already at max capacity. The system needs faster decisions with less variability, not more overtime.
The diagnostic challenge that clinics have is that as soon as a sample is taken, the owners begin calling for the results. And clinics in second and third cities often wait days for lab results to come back, with about 10% of cytology slides coming back as non-diagnostics for a multitude of reasons, usually pertaining to sample prep and acquisition. Hematology and cytology slides are difficult to prep, even with skilled technicians and skilled veterinarians. Clinics are also paying premiums for samples being sent to the lab, which arise from transport cost, technician prep, and pathologist review. And so when samples are kept in-house, costs can be eliminated and results are obtained much faster, leading to a faster treatment and diagnosis. The TRUVIEW is the only fully automated digital microscope that prepares and digitizes both hematology and cytology slides for a pathologist review in minutes. The TRUVIEW microscope, with its TruePrep capabilities, eliminates the need for manual slide preparation and manual scanning, significantly reducing time and labor costs that can be allocated to other activities in the veterinary clinic. Additionally, all digital images are immediately available for both on-site or remote viewing within the practice. This allows for multiple users to collaborate simultaneously, regardless of their location, either in the office or at home. Why Zomedica? TRUVIEW's competitive advantage. Our workflow plus optics plus network allows for consistent image quality, increased diagnostic confidence, and staff time savings. TRUVIEW with TruePrep automates slide preparation. LiquiView Optics delivers consistent quality. Telepathology offers timely reads, and now interpretation flexibility adds AI reports in the same portal. This multi-layer approach makes the product harder to copy and easier to adopt in the clinic. The traditional digital cytology workflow is quite cumbersome. A technician has to acquire the sample. That sample has to then be placed on a slide. Depending on what type of a sample it is, there's sometimes a 5-minute dry time associated with that. The sample then has to get stained, generally in a 3-part stain, rinsed, and dried. That staining, rinsing, drying time takes roughly about 15 minutes. The sample then has to get packaged and sent to the lab. The lab will then process the sample, create the images and the report, which generally happens anywhere from 3 to 5 business days after the sample was acquired. TRUVIEW's key features are all designed to resolve problems expressed by veterinarians, including automated slide preparation, which removes human error, accuracy and speed of image acquisition, all-in-one compact design and footprint, and reduced training requirements, which leads to faster turnaround times, revenue growth and generation for the clinic, better client satisfaction because we're providing same-day answers, and confidence in diagnosis with the pathologist review on demand. With the TRUVIEW digital microscope, a technician will acquire the sample, Place the sample on the slide and insert the slide into the TruView. Within 2.5 minutes, that slide is ready to be imaged. Those images are then sent to MyZomedica. The AI report is automatically completed on those set of images, returned to MyZomedica, and at which point the clinician can make a diagnosis for that patient. Additionally, should the clinician feel the need to send the images for a pathology report, they can do that with a simple click of 2 buttons. With the TruView slide preparation and image acquisition, we lead to more consistent images. Automation returns time to staff to do other things, and access to interpretation speeds up decision-making abilities. There are many use cases for digital microscopy in veterinary medicine outside of just cytology, fine needle aspirates, and hematology cases. ROSE procedures, which are rapid on-site examination procedures, can be done to determine surgical margins when removing masses during surgery. Being able to incorporate the digital image into the client record for either just record keeping or followed up treatment to compare a course of treatment or treatment plan. Documenting specific patient conditions and being able to teach the staff using the saved images to further their education and knowledge on disease processes. Legal documentation of a patient's condition is also used when using digital images.
Access to the TRUVIEW microscope and its ecosystem is turnkey. We handle placement and installation, and we're there every step of the way to support adoption. Training is delivered by our imaging team, account managers, and professional service veterinarians, with thoughtful follow-ups to make it part of the clinic's everyday routine. Commercially, clinics operate under a 1-year agreement with a minimum monthly spend. Consumables used in automated slide preparations, stain, rinse solution, smear slides, and the immersion oil are tracked by the device and can auto reorder, making sure the device is always ready to be used. AI generates reports for all hematology cases and selected cytology cases, and clinics can add on-demand pathology with standard or STAT interpretations whenever additional diagnostic confidence is needed. This results in high uptime, minimal admin, and predictable revenue aligned to utilization. Clinics benchmark external cytology costs at approximately $120 per case. In our model, AI is automatically charged for all hematology cases and selected cytology cases. And the per case cost for the TRUVIEW microscope is significantly lower than sending cases out to external laboratories. Most clinics will break even roughly at 15 cases per month. Above that, each additional case adds margin while keeping cytology revenue in-house. The levers that matter are utilization per site and how often teams opt for on-demand pathology. Building on the economics we just reviewed, here's how the TRUVIEW microscope will drive practice profitability. Clinics will keep cytology in-house and price it at or near historic send-out levels. The margin will come from the gap between that price and the actual per case usage cost on the TRUVIEW microscope. The commercial model will be straightforward. A modest monthly minimum spend will keep the system ready, and normal usage will typically clear it. Multiple items will count towards that minimum. AI interpretations per case, optional board-certified telepathology consults, and consumables purchased in approximately 120 case kits. Above the minimum, it will be purely pay per case. Revenue will track clinical need. Some visits will require cytology, some hematology, and many will need both in the same encounter. Each is an appropriate billable line item for the clinic. Either study will be routed to a telepathologist when added confidence is warranted. Operationally, the TRUVIEW microscope will automate the smearing, staining, washing, drying, adding immersion oil, and scanning. That will free technician time, lower reruns, and enable same-visit answers, which will lift the treatment acceptance while the client is still in the waiting room, adding downstream revenue beyond the test fee. Economically, break-even will sit at roughly 15 cases per month across a typical case mix. After the minimum is met, every appropriate case, cytology, hematology, or both, will make the visit even more profitable for the clinic. And critically, once the TRUVIEW microscope is woven into daily workflows, clinics will run more cases than before and will uncover new cytology opportunities that previously went unworked. The key takeaway is that the TRUVIEW microscope with AI will convert diagnostics from an external cost into a dependable in-house profit engine through case-based contribution, higher plan acceptance from same visit answers, and reclaimed staff time that will turn into additional billables under a minimum spend model aligned with everyday clinical use. We touched on implementation a little bit earlier. Here's how we sustain it. Technical, clinical, and pathology support continues after install and initial training. We provide remote or on-site refreshers whenever a team changes upon request with new feature releases or when we see an opportunity to lift utilization. We stay proactively aware of systems in the field, knowing how they're running and what types of cases they're handling so that we can keep performance high. And when needed, we can step in with real-time remote support. Bottom line, we have rapid time to value, strong uptime, and a confident day-to-day use.
In summary, TRUVIEW delivers consistent image quality and faster decision-making. Interpretation via telepathology and AI are provided all in one portal, and adoption and clear economics can be shown.
From your perspective, what makes the TruView microscope stand out as a next-generation imaging platform in veterinary diagnostics?
13 years ago, when I began to develop this scope, a group of veterinarians who I was very familiar with came to me and said, the problem in veterinary medicine is nobody can make a smear. Nobody can make a blood smear. And when we run things through an analyzer, all it tells us is the white counts and a few things like that, but it cannot see the morphology. I said, I think I can come up with a way to do that. So initially we did it like many other companies with just a scope. What we found out was there was about a 40% rejection rate of the smears themselves, meaning when they were sent to a pathologist, they were unreadable. When they were sent to AI, they were unreadable. And so I went back and said, we've got to be better than everybody else. And our better than everybody else is total control of the process from the drop of blood coming out of the EDTA tube to a final diagnosis. And we do that by the drop of blood only being placed specifically on our type of slide. Our system takes over from there. We smear it, dry it, stain it, find the cells on it, find the right area to scan, and do a literally perfect job every single time of getting the correct smear, a perfect bullet, the correct stain, the same intensity of the stain, which is critical for AI. Because without everything being the same, AI is having to learn new tricks all of the time. And it delays it and also minimizes the quality of the process. So that's why I developed this along with a team of people to give us the only scope in the world, either human or animal, that actually prepares its own slides, therefore eliminating the human error involved in making microscope slides.
How does the TruView microscope's focus on image clarity translate into better outcomes for veterinarians and patients?
We image stack, and we do so very, very rapidly. So when we take a slide, instead of like every other company that just does fields of view, we do 8 to 16 images in each field of view in less time than they can actually accomplish no stacking in the same number of fields of view. And that extends our image quality dramatically. What does that do clinically? It provides a better resolution for diagnostics. Again, AI doesn't have the ability to go back and change the initial focus of the field of view. We do that so that AI doesn't have to. And it means our AI is more accurate. It means that if a pathologist reviews the image, there's a wow factor to the quality of the image that they're seeing. And that wow factor translates into a better diagnosis.
Can you explain the science behind the TruView microscope particularly the liquid lens technology and how it improves image clarity compared to other systems.
So when looking at a specimen under a microscope, you can adjust in the XY direction to move around the slide. But you must also adjust in the Z axis, so up and down, in order to focus on a specific area and to image through a sample that actually has depth to it. So traditional microscopes do this adjustment along the Z axis by either moving the objective, which contains the lens, or moving the stage. So that's the part of the microscope that actually holds the slide. So you can move the objective or the stage up and down in order to get good focus. However, in an automated microscope, when you're scanning really large areas of the slide, it takes time to adjust, the objective or the stage if you have to refocus as you scan to each new field of view. So in the TRUVIEW, instead of moving the objective or the stage to adjust that Z axis, we use a liquid lens. So the liquid lens works by reshaping a liquid that actually functions as the lens instead of moving the objective. And this is a much faster method of Z-axis adjustment that enables us really rapid scan rates. Additionally, it also allows us, because of these rapid scan rates, it allows us to make Z-stack images at every field of view. So by taking a Z-stack, which is really just meaning you're taking multiple images along the Z-axis at each field of view, we get a more complete view of the objects in each field of view. So this is important if you're looking at different size cells in a sample. So in a hematology sample, if you have red blood cells, which are really small, as well as white blood cells, which are much larger, you want to image across that Z-axis so you can get clear images of both size cells. It's also important in thick samples, which often occur in cytology. So being able to image in that Z-axis gives us clearer images of the specimen.
The TRUVIEW microscope has advanced quickly. How is the team able to add new features while ensuring reliability and consistency?
So first of all, we have a really great team working on the TRUVIEW microscope. So we have people from all aspects of our R&D and engineering groups. And we have really benefited that Bill Campbell and Megan Gassemian, who actually came to us when we acquired the TRUVIEW microscope. So these are the people that originally developed, they were the innovators that created this device. And by having them come into Zomedica and continue working on the device, they know everything about it. They know how it's made, they know how it functions, and therefore they're able to come up with really innovative ideas and really efficient ways to incorporate those ideas into the device. In addition to having such a great team, including Bill and Megan, we also do all of our development through our phase gate process. And this does ensure that while we're moving quickly, we're still going through all the appropriate stages and doing all the appropriate testing. So when we release a product, we know that it's going to work and that it's going to be reliable.
From a clinical perspective, how does the TRUVIEW microscope's image clarity and AI-supported reporting increase confidence in diagnoses?
So every doctor likes to have confirmation that their line of thinking is correct when they're making a diagnosis, even when you're already confident in your skills. So a clearer picture is going to allow the doctor and or the tech to more quickly and easily identify pathology or a normal status. And then the AI report acts as like a second opinion to increase that confidence even further.
What impact does the TRUVIEW microscope have on clinic staff, both in terms of saved time and improved workflow?
Being able to place the slide in the scope and then walk away allows for multitasking, which is really important in the workflow of veterinary clinic. This same multitasking with traditional slide prep will lead to errors in slide preparation, like letting it sit in the stain for too long and things like that, which then decrease the ability to make a good diagnosis. So with TRUVIEW, you're not only gaining the ability to multitask, but you can be confident that you're not sacrificing quality of slide prep in the process. And then traditionally, you have to send out an unstained slide and wait for shipping time, as well as the time that it takes to prep and read the slides when you want a pathologist to review them. And this can take days to a week, especially in more rural areas without quick pickups and turnaround times. But with TRUVIEW, you can send the image of the stained slide directly to the pathologist. And then with the quick turnaround time for path review being less than 2 hours, you get this diagnosis faster and therefore implement your treatment faster, which is ideal for everyone, especially the pet and the pet owner.
From a market perspective, how do the TruView microscope's efficiencies translate into profitability for veterinarians and their practices?
I see the TRUVIEW microscope helping veterinarians increase practice profitability in 3 ways. First, time back to the clinic. TRUVIEW automates smear, stain, and scan the same way every time, so technicians aren't tied up prepping or redoing slides. Those minutes add up, and depending on the case volume, they can add up to hours per day. That can be redeployed towards billable work. It's real, repeatable labor efficiency. Second, same visit answers. Faster turnaround times means we can give clients a plan while the patient is still in the building. More diagnostics accepted, medications dispensed, and procedures scheduled today rather than days later. With AI-generated reports delivered through our portal in minutes, clinicians get standardized, decision-ready summaries that reduce callbacks and speed agreement to the next steps. And when a case warrants extra assurance, images can be sent to telepathology so a board-certified pathologist can confirm or refine the impression, providing diagnostic confidence when it's needed the most. Third, higher throughput. With prep scanning compressed, images instantly shareable across teams, AI handling much of the first pass interpretation, and telepathology ready for complex cases, doctors spend more time deciding and less time waiting. That shortens cycle time per appointment and allows more patients per day without adjusting headcount. To put it simply, TruView saves labor, lifts same-day conversion, and unlocks capacity, so revenue grows faster than payroll. Even with conservative assumptions, those 3 levers will increase practice profitability while also elevating the standard of care.
Looking ahead, what's next on the TruView microscope product roadmap that investors should be excited about?
Looking ahead, the TruView roadmap is focused on expanding capabilities of the microscope that deepen clinical value and broaden the adoption of the device.
What role did product development decisions play in ensuring the TruView microscope delivers reliable results from durability testing to workflow efficiency? How were the AI and telepathology functions validated during development?
Product development decisions played a central role in ensuring the TruView microscope delivers reliable results in both hardware and workflow efficiency. During development, we focused on durability testing, not only the hardware, but also the software of the device. All development decisions were aimed to ensure long-term reliability for the clinician to make confident and repeatable results.
How were the AI and telepathology functions validated during development?
Telepathology functions were validated through a multi-step process that combined scientific methods and real clinic testing. We built large, diverse data sets using actual veterinary cases, which were then reviewed and annotated by board-certified veterinary pathologists.
How has your overall experience been with the TruView microscope, especially as the product has evolved and improved over time?
The TruView, to my knowledge, is currently the only unit on the market in veterinary medicine that does an automated CBC to allow for blood smear evaluation. As of this date, the current iteration has much better CPU power and it's providing a consistent, reliable CBC.
In what ways has the TruView microscope impacted your day-to-day workflow? Could you share how the automated slide preparation feature has influenced efficiency or accuracy in your practice?
First of all is workflow. By removing the human element, by using a machine to make a consistent, reproducible blood smear, we're removing technique issues and errors involved with a licensed veterinary technician or technologist. Also, we're freeing up the technician and technologist to not have to do the blood smear, but to concentrate on other issues. In regards to a blood smear, everyone understands the importance of evaluating a blood smear because as we've progressed through practice, we've used more and more automation to do our CBCs. It's the infrequent practitioner now or technician that actually does a hand count to look at white blood cell and red blood cell. As a consequence, we've fallen out of the habit of evaluating cells for their morphological detail. An automated CBC is only half the picture. This unit is not to replace an automated CBC machine, but to add value. With the slide being read, examined, I'm able to examine not only the red blood cell morphology, but the white blood cell morphology. Zoomatica is allowing the practitioner to have that imagery. Because it's automated, I don't have to necessarily examine the slide at this moment or we're lost. I can go back to it later once I get my CBC results back from my automated machine. It not only allows me to see the morphology, but it also helps to confirm the accuracy of the automated CBC series.
How does the Microscope online portal, integrated with the TRUVIEW microscope and its AI option, help veterinarians view cases and support their diagnostic process?
So our portal acts as a central hub for all case information. Veterinarians can log in to securely view the images, the AI-generated reports, and the telepathology consults all in one place. With the integration, Microscope processes the TrueView images, passes those images to our AI models for cell evaluation, and ensures that the data aren't just captured, they're curated into insights that help guide clinical decisions.
What does the end-to-end experience look like, from image capture on the TrueView microscope to AI-assisted review and telepathology in myzomedica.com? And how are results delivered back to the clinic?
From the end user perspective, you load a sample on the machine and can walk away. The automated image acquisition and automated workflow performs analyses using the relevant model and routes images to our pathologists without the need for further intervention. Users are notified when the reports are ready to determine the appropriate next steps for their patient. And those notifications come in various forms depending on what the user selects. And then they can communicate back to the pathologist if necessary.
How does IT infrastructure enable key TrueView microscope features like telepathology services and AI-generated reports?
It's important to understand the TrueView digital microscopy platform is a distributed system. It is a distributed system both from a device perspective as well as a service perspective. In other words, TrueView is a diagnostic ecosystem. While the device may reside in a veterinary practice, the technology used to deliver the digitized hematology and cytology slides go far beyond the physical footprint of the device. With every slide run, TrueView triggers the orchestration of technology spanning embedded software, cloud-side image processing, and cloud-side AI image analysis to deliver a digitized slide image and report for the clinician to interpret. In addition to the technology being distributed, TrueView ecosystem allows for clinicians to interface with remote clinical pathologists through our Microscope customer portal. This allows clinicians to get the clinical support they want or need to feel confident in their diagnosis and treatment plans. We are providing a connected diagnostic ecosystem spanning technology and service offerings to ensure our clinicians have best-in-class tools to elevate patient care.
What steps are taken to ensure data security, speed, and reliability when veterinarians are depending on the TrueView microscope in real time?
I'm going to hone in on the speed and reliability portion of the question first, as we put in a lot of effort into the solution design to ensure we are meeting our customers' workflow needs. Executing slide imaging at speed is not a new problem. You can do a literature search on the topic and find a lot of research on methods for whole slide imaging. Even though there's a lot of research, the crux of the problem still remains. It is difficult to capture in focus microscopy images at speed. While a microscope slide is not a large object, imaging the area of interest on a microscope slide at 50x magnification is not a trivial task. On average, we're generating between 400 to 800 4K resolution images to capture the area of interest on a hematology slide. When arranging the individual 50x images into a single image, it puts the image in gigapixel territory. Gigapixel is just a fun term for a very big image. The image size is so large that we couldn't open or view it in a web browser in a standard manner. We have a lot of engineering talent here at Zomedica, and we went to work to develop an efficient way to capture these 400 to 800 images, as well as process them so they can be viewed. The team developed a highly parallelized process for capturing images, focus stacking images, streaming the image to the cloud, reconstructing the whole image cloud side, and then preparing the whole slide image for view in a web browser. Many of you might not know this, but when you are viewing a map in Google or Apple Maps, You are viewing a huge number of tiled images arranged in a pyramid structure that allows you to quickly zoom way out and zoom way in to see fine details. We leverage the same technology to allow clinicians and clinical pathologists to view the whole slide image, as well as zoom in on a single white blood cell. This entire process is handled securely through the MyZomedica cloud.
How was the AI trained? And how is it integrated into the TRUVIEW microscope workflow so that veterinarians can seamlessly access AI-assisted insights within their diagnostic process?
Here at Zomedica, we have the pleasure of working with a number of board-certified clinical pathologists. We leverage their expertise to annotate or classify white blood cells, platelets, and other clinically relevant cell types and cell morphologies to create a diverse data set for training AI. AI is only as good as the data it's been trained on. This training data set was produced from slides that were smeared, stained, and imaged on the TRUVIEW microscope. This data set was then leveraged to train an AI classification model to classify white blood cells and more to aid clinicians in interpreting their test results. We then folded the AI classification model into the highly parallelized image processing workflow I just spoke about to provide clinicians AI analysis to assist them in their results interpretation and diagnostic decision-making. We see a future where AI can augment the clinical decision-making process and help to elevate patient care.
Thanks for watching today's webinar and learning more about how TRUVIEW's technology can revolutionize veterinary diagnostic and telepathology workflows. We're now moving into the live Q&A with the TRUVIEW team. If you have a question, drop it in the chat box now. We're here to help. If anything comes up later or you'd like to speak with someone directly, you can reach us at the phone number or email address shown on your screen. Let's jump in.
Thank you very much for joining us today. I guess I would say that our presentation must have been fairly comprehensive and addressed any potential questions, because there are no open questions at this point in time. So let me just, I suppose, riff a little bit. One of the questions that you might have is, when are we going to launch this? As you know, we launched this some time ago in a very limited way to be able to acquire images to train the AI engine. As Evan mentioned, that's a critical part of training the AI technology. And it's important that the images be those generated on the machine that is going to generate them in the future. Having collected those images and gotten all of the AI engine finalized, we are now ready to go. We have a product in the warehouse. We built TRUVIEW machines. We have the pathologist team ready to continue what they have been doing, which is to provide reads for those veterinarians who are requesting a pathologist second opinion. And the AI training is essentially complete. It's in the final stages of fine-tuning. And we expect to launch this product fully in the next several weeks. So it's coming soon. As you heard, this is not a capital sale, but rather one in which we deploy the instrumentation into the account. And then once deployed, we require a minimum monthly spend. Rich went through that during the presentation itself. If we look at what we see in terms of industry averages, we expect to be well above that $750 monthly minimum. When you think about it, if they're doing about 40 or 50 slides a month, and all of those have say on the low end, say they're all in the less expensive $20 hematology charges, you can see that that alone is over $750. In addition to that, they do pay for the slide materials. It's about $1.50 per slide. So on 50 slides, you can see what that costs. And also any pathology reads Just for the standard same business day, it's about $75 or $80, and then it goes up beyond that if they want stat reports. So as opposed to a big capital sale like we get with the PulseVet, where we sell that unit for around $32,000 out of the gates for a small animal practice, this one will not generate capital revenue, but instead will provide a nice foundation of revenue on an ongoing basis that we expect to grow over time. Every time we'll deploy one of these instruments, we start a revenue stream for the future that we expect to grow, not just from additional deployments, but also as people gain more and more comfort and realize they don't have to make that smear, they don't have to prepare that slide after all. It's really easy to use. We expect utilization will also increase over time. So we're very excited about putting this device out there, and really looking forward to building our base of consumable revenue, which, as you know, today represents about 70 to 75% based on the quarter of our total revenue. Okay, no questions yet. All right. So what other questions might you have? One might be, how's the quarter going? It's the 26th of September. Quarter goes through down to September 30th. And I would tell you that it's going just fine. We're very pleased with the progress that we're making during the quarter. We expect to have good news to present to you when we release earnings, which we expect to be right around November the 6th. Mike, is that correct?
Yes, that's right, Larry.
Okay. So, like I said, we expect to have good news. And as I'm saying this on the 26th of September, you might feel like we're pretty confident of that, as you should be. What other questions? What's happening in the quarters to come, or in the balance of the year? Well, we recently launched the feline cobalamin and folate multiplex assay. And we have a couple of more assays that we expect to launch between now and the end of the year. So that'll be good for TRUFORMA launches. We expect also, as I mentioned on a previous call, we expect also to launch an enhanced version of the VetGuardian device. We'll give you much more information on that on our fourth Friday at 4 call in October, which will be our next one of these webinars. And I think you'll be interested in seeing the advancements that we've made in that product and technology. I know that it's going to be delightful for customers, and we'll go through that whole process essentially a month from now. We're looking forward to the fourth quarter. As you know, while our revenue is generally 3/4 or close to that, let me just say that, from consumable revenue, allowing us to then build a good, steady growth pattern. We also note that in the fourth quarter, our expectation is that capital revenue will be highest in the fourth quarter of each year. It has been that way for the last 3 or 4 years. Part of that reason is that equine veterinarians have a very large trade show in December, either late November or early December, at which they generally come to that meeting looking forward to taking advantage of the AAEP, the American Association of Equine Practitioners is the name of the conference. They look forward to capitalizing or taking advantage of that AAEP show discount, which frankly they could get if they just asked earlier, but they don't know that, so they come with their checkbook. As well as to take advantage of the IRS's Section 179 ability to deduct the entire expense in a year in which it's placed in service. As long as it's placed in service by the end of the year, then they're in good shape. So that's coming up, and we expect that will, as it has in previous years, provide a boost to capital revenue, to capital sales. And we also think that VetGuardian Plus will be an improvement, and so on and so forth. So good quarter this quarter, and we expect to again, a good quarter next quarter as well. So we have a question. Once the stock price reaches above 20 cents per share, will you try to regain compliance on the NYSE? So just to clarify, it would be the NYSE American Exchange is the exchange that we were on before. And the thing with these exchanges, whether it's the NYSE American, or NASDAQ, they have two different sets of criteria. One set of criteria is a criteria for listing or uplisting in the first place. And then they have another set of criteria for maintaining that listing. And the criteria for being listed in the first place has to do with the amount of capital the company has on board, the number of shareholders that it has, whether or not it has a credible board of directors, it's independent directors, and there's just a lot of different criteria. And there is also a standard for the share price. So I will tell you that we meet essentially all of the criteria. There may be something that I'm not aware of, but we meet all the criteria that I'm aware of, and I've pretty well studied this for the NYSE American, and the NASDAQ, with the single exception of the stock price. And that tends to be much higher than that minimum threshold. So, for example, with the NYSE American, I believe it's $4 per share. NASDAQ is a little bit higher. I'm not familiar with the NYSE one. I think the two primary options which we would look at would be preferably the NASDAQ, which I think is $5, and the NYSE American, because we were there before, which is $4. So you could see getting to 20 cents would be a nice step in the right direction. But it's going to have to get higher than that for us to get listed on a major exchange. Now, we still maintain this as a significant goal for us, but we're also realistic and need to be practical. And so what we are intent on doing is continuing to increase revenue quarter over quarter, year over year, to maintain margins in that close to 70%, a 68 to 70, maybe a little higher percent range, and continue to have discipline in spending. Our OpEx continues to go down. We expect to report again, reduced operating expenses year over year, and to be able to identify, pursue, and achieve cash flow break even. And as we do that, then we expect that we'll attract additional investors, we'll restore confidence in some retail investors that perhaps were wondering what direction we were headed. But I think we all saw over the last few weeks, it looked like at least an investor and maybe several investors looked to take a position in the company. And as you saw, it doesn't take much in terms of sustained demand for a certain number of shares for that to impact the share price. And so as we attract investors, we may not be able to appeal to certain investors because of the fact that we're considered in some cases a penny stock, certainly a stock below $1, not traded on a major exchange. It's true that there are many investors that can't get involved, but there are obviously investors that can. Whether it's our own folks who have taken advantage of open windows, or it's other investors, we'll continue to appeal to them by having the company perform, and then eventually, at some point, we will get to organically a share price that meets the criteria for listing. It's a major goal, and we're going to keep after it. Let's see. Do you have early results of the AI accuracy compared to humans? Is it optional to use or any automated process build? Okay, so good question. With respect to its usage, all hematology slides and all cytology slides of a certain category will automatically be scanned by the AI engine, and a report will be provided. That's an integral part of this system. You may recall that there is a competitor in the marketplace that offers that AI interpretation on all slides that are prepared by manually and then put into the system. And it's one of the reasons that we delayed a full launch of this product until we had the AI ready. So it is an automatic process. Now there are some, ear cytology or some exotic pet cytology, things like that they need to use the microscope for, which they certainly can. And we don't yet have AI for that, although we expect to continue to roll out additional indications. And once we do have an AI indication for that, then we'll make that automatic. Results of the AI accuracy compared to humans. I'm not sure how to answer that. Is Ashley on the call? No.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, so that obviously is part of our testing. Part of our validation is comparing to a pathologist review of a slide. So we're not ready to release those results yet. Obviously, we're still in the final stages of development. And so that will be part of our release when we put it out there. But I can tell you that is, we're very happy with the results of the AI. We're talking about it now because it's, we're confident in the performance of the AI algorithm that we're using, and that is an integral part of our testing process, is to do the comparison to a pathologist's review.
Oh, I see. Okay, so AI compared to human
To a human interpreting the slide, I think was the question.
Actually,
correct.
Could have taken a shot at that answer. If it didn't match up, we wouldn't launch it, right? I mean, that's the end result of that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay, good. Interestingly, I think that this scope, once we get it out there and we demonstrate its utilization, so on and so forth, this microscope, we own this outright by virtue of acquiring it from Bill and Megan that ran Neat Revo Squared. And it does have application, we think, in the human market. We've spoken many times about the fact that we intend to monetize the human health opportunity for TRUFORMA. We expect to give you news of that in the coming months. But also, once we get this out there and demonstrate durability and reliability and so on, this has an opportunity to be deployed into the human market as well. And in fact, speaking about durability, the team they did a series. We have published a white paper. I don't know if they actually released that publication yet, but it's done. 5,000 slides over 5 machines sequentially, all day long for as long as it took to do 8 hours a day for as long as it took to do 5,000. And the error rate was, I actually forget, Bill, what was the error rate on that, or Megan?
It was 0.4%. So we're 99.6%.
99.6% error-free rate of acquiring the slide, acquiring the image, doing the smear, doing the prep, doing all of that, and providing an image. And so we're very pleased about that, which gives us a lot of confidence in the reliability of the device out there. So we do expect in the future to be able to take advantage of that as well. Let's see. Do you plan to bring AI into TRUFORMA or other products as well? Good question. And so the answer is kind of yes. We already have AI involved, very much so integrated into the technology of VetGuardian. We're actually expanding that a little bit with our VetGuardian Plus. AI is used to determine if there's an animal in the cage. It's used to determine in that particular animal, where is the hottest pixel? They're looking, it's image-based. There's a thermal imaging camera in there. And so what you're looking for is take the temperature of the animal. You want to get the hottest part of that animal's body that you can see, because that's going to most closely match the inner core temperature of the pet. Typically not typically, the hottest spot on the animal is going to be the eyes. And so unless you've got a really sleepy black cat with the eyes covered with fur and you can't see the eyes, you're typically going to, AI is going to look for the eyes, identify the eyes as the hot spot, compare that with other parts on the body, and then pick that spot to get the closest and most accurate temperature reading. As we move forward, the team is looking at all sorts of things to do with AI for Vet Guardian. We'll talk more about that on our next Fourth Friday, but you can imagine not just picking out an animal, but what kind of animal is it? What's the species? What kind of animal? Is there a reference range change associated with that? And so on and so forth. With Truforma, the team has been working, and Brian, who you heard from earlier, has been working with Evan, and the two of them have been able to provide some clinical data support in the Myzomedica portal, so that when a veterinarian is looking at a result, they not only see the result, but they also see right away a clinical reference resource that is a third party, not us. We didn't create the materials. We just accessed a sort of state of the art. So they have the ability to do that. And Evan and Brian have been contemplating taking that a step further and going ahead and looking at the image. Looking at the results of the Truforma test, accessing that sort of standard of care clinical reference material, and then going ahead and offering up suggested ways to interpret those tests. So that's all coming as we move forward. I'm as you can see from the team, I'm a little bit on the older side here. Well, me and Bill, but there's a lot of youngsters here, which is good. And so AI is something that, I certainly didn't grow up with, but I've, through working with it with these folks, gained a lot of appreciation, not just on how we can use it in the instrumentation, but also how we can use it for a variety of things. I think it's a really good tool, and it's one that we expect to incorporate not only in our day-to-day operations, but also in the technology that we offer to the marketplace. So Robert, I won't say your last name just out of courtesy, but Robert, I can't read your question because if I say the words, then I'm going to get a lot of emails about how I shouldn't bring that up again. And for those of you on the call, I think you probably know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to keep myself out of trouble here by not asking your question. Sorry. Let's see, here's one. Do you have an estimate as to when we will reach cash flow break even? Yeah, we'll go ahead and reiterate that we expect when we're right in the sort of mid 50s in terms of millions of dollars of revenue, that we expect at that point to be cash flow break even. And then it'll be a bit after that when we are GAAP profitable on the P&L. And the reason for that difference is pretty simple, is that on the P&L, we have many, or at least I should say several expenses, which are properly and appropriately accounted for according to GAAP or the standard of accounting practices, properly accounted as expenses. Things like depreciation on equipment. You may recall we put in the Truforma line. We spent about $6 million, actually a little bit more than that, on the robotic assembly equipment. And so instead of taking that $6 million expense all in one swag, what's required of us is to allocate that expense on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis, over the period of time which is judged to be the life of that equipment. And sorry if I'm, sort of stating the obvious here, but just to make sure we're all on the same page. So that depreciation, we already spent the money. We spent the cash, a year and a half ago. Other expenses, if you're developing a product, developing software, certain things can be amortized, right? Here's a product we're spending a whole bunch of money right now, or just any money. We spent it, say, last year, but it's going to benefit us over the next, say, 5 years, 10 years, something like that. We can amortize those expenses and appropriately do it, right? It's not just we can have the option. A lot of these things are very much in stone. And so we follow Mike Zelke's lead, and the results of all of that accounting is that we have expenses that are on the P&L but are not cash expenses during the current period. And so that's why we'll get to cash flow break even. Another example of that is a stock option. As you can tell when you look at the total compensation packages of our people, you'll see that there's a cash compensation, generally salary, and then there's bonus, and then there's this stock compensation. And so when stock options are issued, there's this calculation that's performed that determines what these stock options might be worth in the future if the stock price goes up. Of course, if the stock price goes down, then they're not worth anything until the stock price goes back up. But in any event, whatever happened, regardless of what may happen to the stock price, there's what's called a Black-Scholes calculation, which determines, hey, we should count this as compensation for this person, even though it's not actually paid to the person at that time, nor is it ever paid by the company to the person. Instead, it's this potential that if I have a stock option that was issued at 58 cents and the stock goes to $1.58, and then I can sell that stock, I can buy that option, pay the company 58 cents to get that share of stock, and then I can sell that stock, that share of stock on the open market, and I would gain $1 in that example. Well, that theoretical or hypothetical dollar in the future is charged today to our P&L. This is all, in line with GAAP or generally accepted accounting principles. So long-winded answer. Sorry about that for why there's a delta between cash flow break even and P&L profitability. But we get to around 55 million, we'll be cash flow break even, and then it'll be a little bit after that when we're GAAP profitable. Let's see here. How do you like the recent stock price jump? I like it, right? As you all know, my stock purchases are public record. I have 1 million shares. When I had 500,000 shares, I have 5 grandchildren. When I had 500,000, my cost basis was about 10 cents. I bought another 500,000 shares when the window opened to bring me up to 1 million and brought the stock price, brought my average cost down to around 5 cents. Brought it down to 10 cents. My initial stock price was over 20 cents, bought another 500,000, brought it down to 10 cents. And so for a day there, I was in the black. And I'm sure you were all, if you were in that same boat, you were happy. Of course, when it came back down to 8 cents now, I'm not in the black anymore today, but over the long haul, I will be. So I was very pleased with it. Both for that reason, not that I'm selling any shares, so please don't hear the wrong thing. In that theoretical example, I wouldn't sell that share of stock, I'd keep it. For 2 reasons. One, it was good because I think we all felt better, right? And do today, right? 80 million market cap is better than 40 million market cap. The other reason is it just shows you the impact of a serious investor that is looking to put $250,000 or $500,000 to work in the stock. You could see the impact. We have a lot of loyal shareholders that are not looking to sell the stock at 5 cents, 6 cents, 7, 8, 9 cents. What you saw when somebody looks like they were spending about $250,000, maybe a little bit more than that, to acquire shares, and I have no idea who it is, so please don't read into it any more than that. But it looked to me like somebody was trying to take a position, and even taking a relatively modest position in the scheme of things, you saw the impact on the share price. And so that just goes to show you, if we can attract more investors that have deep pockets and are willing to invest in the shares, then I think we'll all be rewarded. Now, that does not suggest by any means that the everyday individual investors out there didn't also participate. They did, right? Because many more shares were traded than just what it looks like somebody was acquiring. And so it's a number of things. It's investors that are ready and willing to take a position in the company, and also many individual investors who, maybe had thought about buying additional shares to bring their average cost basis down, but kind of wanted to wait and see what was going to happen and wonder if something bad was going to happen to the company. It reflects a growing confidence that with the capital that we have on board, the growing revenue, the high margins, the line of sight to profitability, that this is a really good bet. So I'll leave that to all the people that know a lot more than I do about the stock market. I just know if we continue to perform in the company, we're bound to be rewarded by that. Let's see, I think we have one other. Yeah, one other. Will you use case-based series with the products like client testimonials, weekly, monthly on YouTube, vets sharing their experience, case-based stories, and how Zomedica products help them? It could improve visibility and give investors, vets, resources to follow up on how the products are utilized in actual practice. Sorry for the long question. No apology necessary. Combined with an idea. Yeah, so I think that's a really good point, right? I think veterinarians like to hear from other veterinarians on what products they're using, how they're using them, and the benefits of them. And so I think anyone that really follows us, and I encourage you to do it, if you don't already, follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and we also have YouTube videos as well. And I think you'll see that the team is doing a pretty good job of sharing veterinarians' utilization with the products before and after with dogs treated with PulseVet. A little harder, the kind of the outcomes on with TRUVIEW, but certainly the ease of use and the convenience and so on. The products that are on the market already, I think you've seen from the former webinars, if you get on before 4 o'clock, there's about 4, 5, or 6 minutes of testimonials from different vets that talk about their experience. And of course, whenever we go to conferences or what have you, we make sure that those are shared. And each of our sales reps is equipped with an iPad with a software program called ShowPad. And that has all of the different products, presentations, all of the features and benefits, all of the return on investment calculators, all of the materials that you would use to present that product to a customer, and as well as these testimonials. In the old days, you'd walk around with a loose leaf notebook with all of the references and things, and today you walk around with an iPad and you're able to show that. With that, let me just again, no more questions that I can see. With that, I will simply again thank the team for putting this together and participating. I probably could do a better job of having some of you answer these questions, and I will try to do that next week or next month. And then thank all of you for coming and spending your time learning more about Zomedica and the TRUVIEW microscope and your support of Zomedica. With that, thank you very much and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.